Elliott took a deep breath and laced his fingers together.
"I've devised a plan I hope will save our family from the dissolute course it has been on for a few generations now."
Peter's face immediately went hard, but Elliott held the younger man's eyes.
"Let us talk as men. You know as well as I that the Mayfield family is off course, though you are the exception."
Peter's jaw was still tight, but he nodded. Elliott ignored the squirming in his own gut and continued.
"Your father shall always have my respect for having done right by your mother and yourself, but that does not change the difficult lives you and your siblings have endured for their poor choices."
Elliott paused, waiting until Peter acknowledged the truth with another nod. They had never discussed the details of Peter's parents' relationship, but it loomed heavy above them both. Teddy had been the 21-year-old second son of a viscount, Mara a 17-year-old chambermaid. Their marriage had taken place only weeks before Peter's birth, making him legitimate, but his mother was as unsuited for the circumstance she'd married into as Teddy had been for the role of a husband or a father. They had made one another miserable until Teddy's death 8 years later, during which time they'd had a daughter, Donna. Their third child, Timothy, was born 3 months after Teddy's burial in the family plot. Mara became a recluse for the decade that followed Teddy's death, refusing to leave her home and treating her various maladies with gin or laudanum, or both. Elliott continued.
"My sisters, your aunts, who I realise you never met in person, made equally poor use of their privilege, and I fear that their children are following in their footsteps. I have attempted to live far above any censure, Uncle, if I have displeased. I do not include you in my generalisation, Peter. I could not be more proud of the life you have lived and the choices you have made. It is, in fact, your example that has led me to make a decision on behalf of all my nieces and nephews. I want to heal this family, mend the broken bonds, and help my relations find purpose in their lives by striving for more than what is in their grasp right now."
Peter's tension did not dissipate. He raked a hand through his dark hair, which was beginning to grey at the temples, and shifted anxiously. He glanced out the large window, as if he would give anything to be on his way to Norwich, rather than in this chair listening to Elliott's bungling attempts to explain what had seemed a very well-considered plan until just now. There was nothing to do but move forward.
"I have created a campaign that could save the others from their current courses by gifting them each a generous settlement upon an appropriate marriage. Your cousins are all of age, and with my sister Jane's passing last year, I have no more family to stand in my way."
He attempted a smile, then realised he had made a jest that his siblings and their respective spouses, including Peter's parents, were dead. Perhaps not the best way to go about lightening the mood. Peter looked less uncomfortable but more suspect.
"A campaign? A marriage campaign, you might say. I have 7 nieces and nephews, all of whom I have cared for, but you are the only one who has married successfully and enjoyed the security and self-respect of a solid and loving union."
Peter looked at the desk and squared up the edges of the notebook with the table. Perhaps it would have been better for Elliott to have relayed the entire plan in a letter, where he could have found the perfect words to explain. In a letter, the recipient need never know how many drafts existed between first and final. For Elliott, those drafts often counted into double digits.
"I know you miss Sybil very much," Elliott said, his voice softening, even as the awkwardness in the room increased. "Your daughters will benefit from the steadiness of their parents' characters for the rest of their lives. I would like my other nieces and nephews to find similar happiness, as you had with Sybil."
Peter leaned toward one side of his chair, rested one hand on the wooden armrest, and tapped his finger.
"With all due respect, Uncle, my match with Sybil was not the result of a campaign, and I can't imagine we would have found happiness together had our relationship not started with love, commitment, and respect. I struggle to see how your enticements will change anyone's course. A life of virtue."